In every generation, there have been people who claim to represent God. Some are true messengers who guided humanity, while others are impostors who invented lies. This issue is not just ancient history. In today's world, people still spread falsehood in the name of God, sometimes knowingly, sometimes out of ignorance. They appear in different forms: charismatic leaders, self-declared prophets, or even intellectuals who distort the truth for fame or profit. But here is the question: how do we recognize them? How do we distinguish between those who sincerely call to God and those who misuse His name? The good news is, God's revelation already gave us the tools to detect falsehood. Today, let us explore those signs one by one, through Scripture, logic, and even modern science. The Quran gives us a direct and powerful warning. And who is more unjust than one who invents about Allah a lie or denies His verses? Indeed, the wrongdoers will not succeed. Surah Al-An'am 6:21. This verse tells us two important truths. Inventing lies about God is one of the greatest injustices. Those who do it will never succeed in the long run. So the very first sign of false claimants is their habit of attaching their own words, ideas, or desires to God, pretending it is divine truth. To understand false claimants, we must first understand the opposite, the genuine prophets, peace be upon them. Across history, every true prophet had the same qualities. They called people to worship the one God alone. They asked for no payment, wealth, or personal glory. They practiced what they preached. Their lives were models of honesty, humility, and sacrifice. Contrast this with false claimants. They glorify themselves. They demand loyalty and wealth. They contradict their own message. Their personal life often reveals arrogance or immorality. Let us break down the signs one by one, with evidence and reasoning. 1. They promote themselves more than God. A sincere messenger directs people to God, not to himself. God says, "And they were not commanded except to worship Allah," being sincere to Him in religion. Surah Al-Bayyinah 98:5. If someone demands loyalty to his own name, his movement, or his group more than to God, that is a red flag. 2. They contradict established truth. God's revelation is consistent. A liar will often contradict what is already preserved. Falsehood cannot approach it from before it or from behind it. It is a revelation from a Lord who is wise and praiseworthy. Surah Fussilat 41:42. Logic tells us truth remains the same across time, but lies always shift. If someone's message keeps changing, it exposes human invention, not divine origin. 3. They exploit people for gain. Many modern false claimants build empires of money and power. They sell false promises, sometimes even in God's name. But God teaches us that real messengers never charged for their service. Say, "I do not ask you for it any payment, and I am not of the pretentious." Surah Sa'd 38:86. So when a preacher or leader constantly asks for money, lavish gifts, or blind allegiance, it's a clear sign of corruption. 4. They divide people into blind sects. Instead of uniting people on truth, false claimants thrive on division. God says, "And do not be among those who have divided their religion and become sects, every faction rejoicing in what it has." Surah Ar-Rum 30:32. Division for truth is one thing, but division for personal gain or control is a dangerous hallmark of falsehood. 5. Their actions expose their reality. Even if their speeches sound religious, their lives tell another story. Pride, greed, immorality, or abuse of power are signs that cannot be hidden for long. True messengers lived with humility. False claimants cannot. Let us now examine this logically. If a message truly comes from God, it should be consistent, just as the laws of nature are consistent. Gravity does not change from day to day. In the same way, God's truth does not change. If someone brings contradictions, logic itself exposes them. If someone claims divine backing, but the result is exploitation, fear, or blind obedience, we can test the outcome. True guidance uplifts people, gives them dignity, and calls them to higher morality. Falsehood lowers people into manipulation and ignorance. Psychology teaches us that liars often leave contradictions. They may sound confident, but their stories do not align. Divine revelation, however, is free of contradiction. God challenges us. Do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from other than Allah, they would have found within it much contradiction. Surah An-Nisa 4:82. This principle is timeless. Contradiction signals falsehood. God has placed within us a natural compass called fitrah, the inclination to recognize truth. So direct your face toward the religion, inclining to truth. Adhere to the fitrah of Allah upon which He has created people. No change should there be in the creation of Allah. That is the correct religion, but most of the people do not know. Surah Ar-Rum 30-30. Even without advanced education, humans instinctively sense when something is off. Our fitrah resists lies, but false claimants try to suppress that instinct with fear, manipulation, or promises of quick rewards. Modern science confirms what revelation tells us. Psychologists and historians have studied how false leaders gain followers, repetition of falsehoods. If a lie is repeated enough, people begin to accept it. Charismatic personality. Many imposters use charm to distract from their contradictions. Exploitation of fear. They claim disasters will strike unless people obey them. Promise of exclusivity. They tell followers they are special or chosen to build loyalty. These are classic tools of manipulation. They align perfectly with the Quranic description of those who mislead in God's name. Another way to expose lies is to look at the long-term impact. Truth produces justice, peace, and dignity. Lies eventually collapse under corruption, division, and abuse. God Himself promises that falsehood cannot survive forever. Rather, we hurl the truth against falsehood, and it destroys it, and behold, falsehood is vanishing. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:18. History proves this. False claimants may rise quickly, but they fall just as fast, while the truth endures. In the digital age, lies spread faster than ever. Social media, television, and even so-called religious movements can carry false claims around the world in seconds. So, how do we protect ourselves? Two shields are essential. Knowledge. Study God's revelation directly. Don't rely only on personalities or second-hand words. When you know the truth, you can spot the fake. Critical thinking. Use your mind. Question every claim. Does it align with God's message? Does it bring justice? Is it consistent? If not, reject it. So, what are the signs of those who spread lies in the name of God today? They glorify themselves more than God. They contradict established truth. They demand wealth, power, or blind loyalty. They create division instead of unity. Their lives reveal arrogance and immorality. God says, "So who is more unjust than one who invents a lie about Allah to mislead the people without knowledge? Indeed, Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people." Surah Al-An'am 6:144. The lesson is clear. Lies will always exist, but they cannot outlast the truth. Our role is to stay awake, use our minds, and remain connected to God's guidance. That way, no deceiver can mislead us. Thank you for joining this journey. In a world full of voices, remember, The voice of truth is steady, consistent, and selfless. Falsehood may sound loud for a while, but it will always fade. Stay connected to the truth, and you will never be lost.